Hello. I got over the cameras right here. I'm bad at looking at the camera. I also don't have to be in stream mode. How do I pause? How do I pause the recording? I don't know how to do that. And I'm also not good at editing, so you're gonna get what you get in this video. Welcome to episode 3, I think. I believe so. I gotta get out of streamer mode because that is what I am in right now. Check me out on Twitch, Naughty Cosmo 69. That's not it's Naughty Cosmo. Um, yeah. Today's video, I'm not really too sure what I wanted to talk about. I've been doing a little bit of outlining, but I haven't solidified really what I want to talk about because I don't know if I want it to be like super constructed or if I just want to kind of spit on the mic, you know? I can bring this closer. Turn down the gain a little bit. Anyways, long story short, I stuck a whole bag of jelly beans up my ass, and I was watching a FD streams video, FD signifier. I literally just heard about him from the Tyler Perry video. Um, and it was a good video. I didn't see it when it was first uploaded. Um, it wasn't really anything revolutionary for me. Honestly, every video that I have watched of his hasn't been very revolutionary for me. It's all things that I already know. Um, we don't necessarily 100% align on some of the things. Like the video I just watched was his booning explained. Replace the boon, the B with a C. Um, and again, it wasn't anything revolutionary for me. What he was saying, like I clocked it all. I understood it all. But regardless, it's entertaining to watch, and it's nice to hear other voices that are similar to mine. Um, Especially so with him because a lot of voices that I've heard are like the TikTok voices and like they align, but a lot of them also um, they'll talk about something and then they'll talk about some like the whole BAFTA shit and like yeah, like I get it, but at the same time like girl, that's just the machine, and like not only that, but like y'all are talking about the word that he said. I forgot. I can't say GGA. Despite being black. Hello. But I'm sorry. I'm looking for my glasses. My glasses. Where are my glasses? One second. Don't talk about the chapstick stains on my jacket. Anyways, y'all are talking about him using the word, ticking the word. I'm not going to say, like, I'm not going to speak too much on it because I don't, like, I'm not going to be ableist. And not only am I not going to be ableist, but, like, I also do um, hold space and understand that, like, the word could be a tick of his because it is something that, like, he regularly hears or something with, like, growing up. Or it could just, with how ticks work, a lot of the time you say shit you don't want to say. What'll happen is you'll have an intrusive thought and then you'll be like, I don't want to, like, you don't want to say that intrusive thought, but your tick, like the type of ticking that you have causes you to say the intrusive thought out loud. A lot of us have intrusive thoughts. We just have filters, and we have a conscious that's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And you stop, like, I don't want to think that. That's not what I think, or no. At least you should. And like they may have the filter in their brain, but like cognitively, but when it comes, like, whatever processes from thought to word to speak, they don't have that filter, so it just comes out. And even more so, it happens when, like, it's something that they don't want to say. Like, they'll be like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. They don't want to do it, and the more that they think about not doing it, the more that they do it. um that being said, though, that doesn't mean that he can't be a racist white man. Like, it's not impossible. And I do understand, even with all of that, I do understand that, like, regardless of his intent, it's a racist fucking word and it's harmful. It hurts people. So even if he didn't intend to say it, even if he did not want to say it, he still said it and it still affected people, especially in a fucking situation like that on national TV. And it's two black people up there, fucking Michael B. Jordan and Delroy. They're both up there, and they have to keep themselves composed because they're in a room full of white people on national TV, in a space where if you do something that you should not do, a lot of the time you can get blackballed from that shit. You can get, like, your career could get ruined from that shit. So like they're like, it's a situation that's hard for them. A lot of black people have had situations where you're in a room of white people, you're in a space where it's a lot of white people, and there's some racist shit, even if it's overt or subtle, and you can't call it out, or you can't necessarily call it out the way you would want to, because you are in a space that is unsafe for you to. So like, I can hold space for all of that while also realizing that the real fucking problem is that the shit was kept in. That was a pre-recorded show. The camera's right here. That was a pre-recorded show. They edited hella shit out, but they chose to keep that in. That was deliberate. That was planned. They want us, y'all who are, and us as a collective, they want us to be arguing over this shit. They want us to be paying attention to it. They want us to be distracted by what they're doing with fucking ICE, setting up, already having the concentration camps, but setting up even more. Fucking all the shit with the fucking files, which again is edited. A lot of the shit that is in the files was taken out and is redacted, has not been released. All of the above. Because it's worse. That being said, I don't like to engage in discourse like that. I try to stay disconnected from those things because it's a design of the machine. It is deliberate. It is a cog in the machine. It is something that just keeps us doing the same dumb shit that they want us to do, to keep us from doing what we were doing in the 80s, to keep us from doing what we were doing in the 60s, to keep us from doing what we were doing all those other times before. All those other times before. Countless times. You can name them. They don't want us to have a revolution to the point where they have to assassinate somebody again, because they're too busy trying to do the other shit that they're doing, the shit that they're setting up for their plan. This isn't the point of this video today. That's not what I want to do today. If I'm going to talk about that, I want to talk about it in a very constructive, well organized video. So, what I was originally talking about is I was watching FD Signifier's secondary channel FD streams. It's up right now. And he was talking about the booting explained. And like I said, like him and I don't 100% agree on everything. Because there were some things that like he was saying in his video that I was like, but like it's nothing that's like, it's just it's nothing that's like I can that like is really like significant. It's not like the core ideology is still there. The core similar beliefs are still there. It's just a difference of perspective. And that's probably because he's much older than me. So he's had more time to think about things and come to a more empathic, not middle ground, but calmer ground. I'm younger, so like I still not that's not to say that he doesn't have the flame lit within him, but I still like have that like cuz he has it too. I've seen a video where like he like crashed out on this dude on some podcast. I haven't watched it in depth, so I'm not going to get too into it, but like he crashed out on some dude on the podcast, and like he very obviously still has like a fight within him. He very obviously still cares. He very obviously has that flame. He's just he just has a little bit different of a perspective that I think has the empathy more at the forefront for him. And that's like not to say that I don't have empathy for people in these situations and the system, the machine, and how it all incorporates with each other. I do. I just also get irritated. I get annoyed. I'm somebody who very quickly like gets over the shit. Like I'm just like I'm over this shit. Like get away from me. Stop talking to me. I don't even want to talk to you. Like I'm gonna start laughing at you. Like I like leave me alone, because if I don't laugh, then I'm gonna get upset, and I don't want to get upset because this isn't something that I need. Like this isn't how I want to use my energy. This isn't how I want to use my energy, my force, my mind, my time. Um, so I think he has a bit. He's just a bit more calm, or not calm, but I would have to go back through the video to find like a specific point that like I'm talking about. But there was like something that like he said that I was just like, but like it was just like one thing and it wasn't anything too serious. Overall, I like everything he said I agreed with. I understood. Like again, a lot of the stuff he says isn't very revolutionary for me because it's stuff that I already know, stuff that I already understand. That being said, I made a comment on his video that I wanted to read. Literally just made it. It says 0 seconds, but that's just because I haven't refreshed the page. At this point it has to be about like 30 minutes ago. But I'm gonna read the whole comment. It says too long didn't read. He need more black friends. And then below that it says he's just your average moderate. Both sides. He's just your average moderate. Both sides have valid points. That's because he's black, so he experiences racism, but he's half white, so he loves his white family and justifies white supremacist ideals because he was raised to believe in them. Just as everyone is due to living under the machine. However, his is worse than your average black person, especially those who didn't grow up with racially conscious parents, because at best he grew up with one racially conscious parent, and at worst, like his dad is a boon himself. I just thought about me switching out the C for B's. I'm gonna stop doing that because we don't rep nothing over here, girl. Okay, I'm one of the girls. Okay, we don't rep nothing over here. Okay, so I'm gonna stop doing that. I will refer to it as what is it? Uh, uh, Procyon Lotor. Procyon Lotor. We just gonna refer to it as that because no. I just thought of that. Um, at worst, his dad is also, or I don't know if his mom is white, but he gives very much white mom energy. But at most, one of his parents is racially conscious. At the very least, like it's not. Um, Mix that with his obvious propensity to hang out with white folk, and you get Procine Lotor. Um, all in all, it's how he's learned to survive in the environment he grew up in. The problem lies within the fact that he's now a grown man who has the means to educate himself, be educated by racially conscious peers, and choose the environment in which he chooses to engage in. It's frustrating, but it's not a thought process that can't be undone. As someone who had to unlearn the racial inferiority, internalize anti-blackness, was surrounded by a lot of white people growing typo by a lot of white people growing up due to a slurry of reasons, and has not only become racially conscious but someone who puts being black before any of my other labels, I can attest. Yeah. Essentially what that says, I myself grew up in a not mixed race household because both my parents are black. My dad full black, my mom is half white, half black. Um, but I grew up with my mother who is mixed. She's black, but well, she identifies as mixed, but she's black. Um, and my white grandmother. My white grandmother raised me for a lot of my life because my mother has. I've talked about her in previous episodes. She has a whole slew of mental illnesses, depression. She's a narcissist. She's got her own trauma and history that perpetuated and continued the generational trauma cycle that is what most people go through, but especially what the black household goes through. Um, so I experienced growing up with a lot of white family because unfortunately my mother did not want me around my father's side of the family because he was abusive physically, mentally. He physically abused me. I have memories, excuse me, of it when I was real young. Um, that being said, I grew up with a lot of white family. So I did grow up with a lot of internalized, um, internalized anti-blackness and hatred. Um, I remember when I was young. I remember when I was young, I was like that one meme of that little boy who was like, "I hate being black. I want to be white." Everybody goes, "Oh!" At one point, I did wish I was white. And I'm not proud of that at all. But it was due to my environment. And also being the weird kid. I grew up a blurred. I grew up queer. Everybody always asked me, "Are you gay? Are you gay?" And when I was young, I was in the closet and I didn't really understand really what gay was. I just knew it was a thing that people were using to insinuate that I was bad, that I was different, that I was other. Um, so for a long time, I distanced myself from my blackness because where I found safety, what I thought was safety, was within white spaces where I could be a nerd and be welcomed, where I could be queer and be welcomed. And that's obviously not to say that I can't be welcomed in black spaces as a nerd, as a queer person, because I am right now, and I have been. And I will continue to be because black people are gay, black people are nerds. So obviously I will be. But when I was younger, I didn't have that understanding. Um, and I I like loved rock music. I was a skater. I was literally my aesthetic. My cousin says like how she remembers me, and how she views me is as my young Xbox 360, not Mountain, well, yeah, Mountain Dew, but Monster drinking, skateboarder, grunge aesthetic, playing Skate 3 and Halo, and just sitting in my room, listening to rock music and all that shit. But I was also a little black boy who liked black boy things. I liked rap, I liked hip hop, I liked uh, things that are black things that are black culturally. And also, I'm a black nigga. I can't say that word. I'm a black person. I am somebody who just internally is black, externally is black, but I was in denial for a long time because I felt like I was not welcomed, which is a story that a lot of blurs have. And also, I'm autistic. I didn't know that when I was younger, but I'm autistic. So that also had a large impact. Um, because unfortunately, the black community is homophobic, not as a whole, but it can be. It does have a culture of it, of being homophobic, of being ableist, of being these things due to the machine, um, due to it being designed that way, and also due to safety and generational trauma, and also due to religious trauma. We're not going to get into the black church. Like I said, when I was watching this Tyler Perry video, a lot of the shit he was saying, I already understood. I already had. I used to love Tyler Perry, by the way. Like I loved Tyler Perry. Down. Big Mama, down. Fucking Norbit, down. That was my shit as a kid. I could quote that to this day. I could still quote it. I won't. Every time I breathe it, I won't because I've grown and I now understand. Yes, I understand the impact that it had on the culture, both positively and negatively. Um, that being said, uh, yappity yap yap. Bitch, this is my video. I could yap all I want. I be trying not to yap. I'm a yap, bitch. Um, I grew up hating myself for a really long time. Um, and it wasn't until my adulthood when I really truly started analyzing where that hatred came from, why I felt this way, and why it was wrong, and why I should not feel this way, why I should love being black, why I should love my all my ancestors who came before me and all the ones that will come after, all literally everything, why I should love everything about who I am, where I come from, and how I got here, including the good and the bad. Um, i.e., my trauma and all that, and seeing how I used it as a way of protection, um, and for neglect within my community, but also within my household, because I should have had parents who made me feel beautiful and comfortable in my blackness, and they did not. Uh, but then again, my mom, she's mixed, so I'm sure it was hard for her herself to find a safety for her. I'm sure she had her own issues. Um, but that being said, um, let me get back on track to what I was saying. Also, like I grew up with a lot of my white family, which a lot of trauma from them, um, a lot. Uh, but it was all I knew for a long time. Um, but now I've grown. I've educated myself. I've been educated by others. Uh, not directly face to face for real. Because honestly, a lot of the time, like I be having to educate them on like not calling women bitches and females. Uh, like why that's wrong. Why saying pause is weird. Um, Yeah. Uh, but I forgot what I was saying. Uh, a lot of my education came from a lot, like years of isolation, and like doing a lot of shadow work and internal work, and reading a lot, watching a lot of videos, um, speaking to my ancestors a lot, uh, and just educating myself a lot about the history and the now, um, and the whole just concept and reality of the machine, and how it's designed for these things to be this way, and how we continue it through the fear, the anger, and the ignorance that it instills within us, and how we can use those things to better ourselves. Um, we shouldn't have to be in fear, but it's understandable why we are fearful. This is a scary fucking time. It's scary to not know if you are going to go outside and be killed any fucking day. It's scary to not even know if someone's going to fucking show up at your door to fucking do some illegal shit like they've been doing recently. It's scary to know that if you do speak out, how you can get a target on your back from that. It's scary just being black. It's scary just being a person in America, in the world, really, um, who's not in the top families, the top corporations. Um, but that fear should instead be turned into, you know, you can feel it. You should feel it when it's there, but you should use that to turn it into courage. Like, you don't have to be brave or courageous and not be with and be without fear. Um Use that as a motivator to save yourself, to save your community, to save those around you. Um at the end of the day, we're animals, and we feel things because that's how our bodies work. And we feel those things to tell our brain things. And we have the ability, the cognitive and conscious ability, to take what we're feeling, understand it, and use it for something to help us, to make us better or safer. Um, so take that fear and use it to make yourself better, safer, your community better and safer, the world better and safer. Take that anger and use it to make the world better and safer. If you gotta write a book, write a book. If you gotta write a song, write a song. If you a poet, write you a fucking poem. Pull up your mic and start rapping, spitting bars, do some slam poetry. Um, I don't know much about poetry. I'm not gonna lie. What's another form? No, a novella is something. Write you something, bitch. Write you something. Make a video. It's 2026. Make you a video. Make you a song. Draw you a picture. Use your words. Speak to others. Communicate with your community. Communicate with yourself. Um, Grow. Change. A lot of us are afraid of change because we learn to be safe within our confines, within the system. But are you really safe if what you're confined in is a prison? That being said, let me continue. It's frustrating, but it's not a thought process that can't be undone. As someone who had to unlearn the racial inferiority, internalized anti-blackness, was surrounded by a lot of people growing up due to a slurry of reasons, and has not only become racially conscious, but someone who puts being black before any of my other labels, I can attest. And you never stop learning. It's impossible to once you begin to do so. It's not only learning about your external, but your internal as well, and how they both intertwine in varying degrees. It's a hard journey once you set upon it, but it's a hard journey once you set upon it, which is why many are afraid slash refuse to do so too. Um, I was gonna say to do so, but I think I said to do so too many times, so I deleted that and I put which are afraid, which is why many are afraid slash refuse to. It's why I've stopped arguing with people or often even engaging in these kinds of things. I'm noticing typos in this and it's irritating me. It's often it often becomes diaspora wars, arguing about what it is to be black and division, which all in all is the machine's design. I'm gonna reread that because I noticed the typos and it pissed me off. It's why I've stopped arguing with people or often engaging in these kinds of things. It often becomes diaspora wars, arguing about what it is to be black and division, which all in all is the machine's design. You people are under spells. You're under spells, people. And we really have to take a step forward. And we really have to take a step towards educating ourselves and our people collectively. So finding your YouTube has been interesting. I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to follow yet, but I've been engaging in your content for a week, getting a feel of the land. Genuinely excited to see where it takes me and glad to see what you provide. Yeah. I take a long time to vet the people that I engage with as a viewer because I didn't used to. I didn't used to at all. I used to just, if I thought you was funny, I thought you was funny. That was it. I eek eek. Ah, I just remembered. I was gonna give an example, but I don't want to. Like it's so shameful. I'm not that same person anymore. I've changed, so it's okay. I grew up on the internet. So I grew up watching a lot of YouTube. And I watched a lot of old YouTubers, such as PewDiePie. He was one of the first YouTubers that I liked. It was way back in the day. I was a small ass kid. Very small, like 9. Um 9 to 12 around that time. It was during the barrels shit. Like that's when I started watching him for his amnesia shit. And then I watched him all the way up until like 20 consistently. I watched him all the way up until like 2012, 2014. And then I started teetering off around 2014. And then around 2016 to 2018 is when like I stopped completely. Um like full cut was like no. Um but before then I was already like realizing that he was weird and I was realizing the Nazi imagery and I was like, but unfortunately I had a lot of white friends. So unfortunately I was someone who saw a lot of edgy humor and was like, "Oh, it's edgy humor and shit." But as my frontal lobe and prefrontal as my brain started developing, as my brain started developing, I was like, this shit's kind of weird, actually. Um, it doesn't matter if it's just a joke. Um, what do you mean by that? And I started disengaging a lot from it. Stopped hanging out with a lot of friends that I hung out with, and I just stopped watching a lot of YouTube that wasn't like Dashy. I still love Dashy games. Um, he does. I like it, as an adult now. Like there's a few YouTubers that I watch that I'm kind of like about because one, I can tell that a lot of their audience is like white people, which FD was talking about, and how that like that's where a lot of the money comes from, and how he doesn't really judge people off that, and he's like, I get it, get what you gotta get. Um, which I'm starting to understand more as I start to have more of an internet um, presence. However, it still makes me a bit uncomfortable because just being aware that, like for instance, let me finish what I was saying. Um, Two YouTubers that I currently watch, Tony Stadavici and Dashy Games. I watch more, but these ones are pertinent to what I'm about to say. What's the word for it? What's the word for it? I forget the exact word. They act black, like they use AAVE. They and like even like saying acting black. I don't really like saying that because like there's no way to act black, but they engage in the culture. They use AAVE. They the mannerisms, the way they talk, like oh my hood, my bro. And it's like maybe you from the hood. Okay, I can understand how you can. I understand how you can use AAVE and all that shit. But at the same time, it makes me a little uncomfortable because it's like I'm hearing my people, but I'm not seeing my people. You know, especially so when like you see that like they do have like they engage in a lot of black spaces. Like Tony Sadavici hangs out with RDC. Love them down. They do irritate me a little bit because they sometimes be doing some homophobic shit, like saying pause and like be gay baiting with the whole Dylan thing. However, it's a little funny. It's a little funny. So I look past it. And also they do a lot for the culture, like a lot. Which I'm not like that's not something that makes me inherently like someone. Because like you can do things for the culture while also doing things negatively for the culture. Um, but overall, I like RDC. Um, Sometimes they just be a little bit too cis het, you know. That being said, he does hang out with them and stuff. I don't know how long they've been friends, but I know like recently, like they've started like hanging out more. He does like have some black friends. However, knowing the audience that they have, that opens the gateway for white people who do not understand the culture, are not like and like they don't say that like they like I hope they're not the kind of people who are like I could say the N word. I don't think they are. They both don't give that vibe that they say it. They don't give that vibe. But I never you never ultimately know unless you know them in person. Um, But with them, with Tony hanging out with RDC and shit, I would imagine that like I know they would not allow that. Just based off of who they are as people, I know they would not allow that. But that doesn't mean that their audiences aren't the kind of white people who do. Um, Oftentimes, when it is a creator who uses AAVE but is not black, they and their audience is white, the white audience uses that as a gateway to be racist and to be culture vultures, and it leads to things like Yat, and that pisses me off. Like people like fucking ALR and shit like that saying point blank peer and shit like that, and people just being culture vultures and degrading our culture, um, making a mockery of our culture. Um, so that does like that. I have to find like a balance with that within myself often, while also finding a balance with like that's why as a creator myself, I tell my viewers like stop using that AAV around me. You're white. Stop it. Like I might let you get away with a little bit here and there, depending on like things it's situational. You know, like I have one white viewer slash friend who has been watching me for a minute, and I've told them multiple times like you gotta stop using that AAVE, bro. Like it's got you in a chokehold. I don't like that. But they are gay. They're a gay white man. And sometimes like when they say shit like girl and shit like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, like that like I'm not gonna get too mad at that. Yeah, what's up, girl? What's up? You're not my sister, but you my girl. What's up, girl? Shit like that. But for the most part, like I'm quick. I'm quick to call out things that make me uncomfortable and that I don't like. Um, which I've noticed some white viewers don't like. Like they've stopped watching me, or like they engage less because like I will call out racism or I will speak on things like that, um, and be like, I don't like white people using AAVE. I be having to code switch with them and shit. And I also just don't like having to code switch. Um, Now being somebody who is autistic and did grow up around a lot of white people, uh, my code switching doesn't come as naturally as some black people. Um, just because social things are hard for me to navigate, but also I grew up around a lot of white people, and for a lot of my life, I was code switching to a like more the the not my natural, but I was code switching. Um, and I remember there like it having like it getting to a point where like I had to be more conscious about it. I had to be like, why do I not just talk naturally? And this is me talking naturally right here, but also, you know, when I talk how I talk, sometimes it's like it's not like what some people will say. You sound white. I don't think I sound white. I think I sound like me, which is a black man. But I've multiple times people like on video games will be like, "You sound like a white boy," and I'm like, "I don't sound like a white boy. I sound like what you think a white boy sounds like, but I don't sound like a white boy." Um, but also, I'm autistic, so there are times where I become what is it, hyperlexic, um, where like I talk kind of like a textbook, like a robot sometimes, and that's just how I am. Oh, 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 yeah. Um, and oh my glasses is crooked, bitch. I gotta get these straight. Anyways, uh, I'm not gonna edit this video. I don't really know how, for real. I'm still learning. If anybody wants to teach me how to edit, hit me up. I've been watching YouTube videos. It's not that easy. It's not hard, but it's not easy. Um, anyways, stuck whole bag of jelly beans up my ass. As somebody who grew up with internalized anti-blackness and self-hatred, I understand the thought process. It doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't mean I agree with it because I don't. And I don't think it's okay. But I do understand the thought process. And I'm willing to have talks and educate people, but only if they're willing to. Which is why I do this, because this is an easy way for me to anecdotally educate and share things that will maybe help somebody. Um, it's also just a way for me to share myself, which all art is just a way for you to share yourself. Um, I don't really know what else to say. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot what I was talking about. I was talking about the Tony Setavici thing, but I kind of like I finished that. uh, FD signifier. While I was making that comment, I was realizing that like I wish that there were more. I wish with all my might. That there were more, that we had like education for our people. Um, and um, like how the Black Panthers had, where they would have like their breakfast, and then like they would have their meetings, and they would have their conversations and their discourse, but it, all within the mind frame of education. And then I realized that that does exist. It just doesn't exist exactly how it did at that time because it's not the 80s anymore, and times have changed and things have happened. And so we have people like FD Signifier, who he is out here educating people. He is out here with the knowledge and sharing it. And I realized that like if I had found his videos years ago, it would have been an education tool for me. And even so, I'm sure it still is. I just haven't really found any videos that aren't any essays or videos that aren't something that like I already have internally essayed myself, because I'm somebody who like I have like his essays. I have those kind of thoughts to myself all the time. I analyze things all the time because I want to understand things. It's how I've gotten here to where I've had a complete change in who I am. I'm still who I was. I still fucking love anime. I was just in my bed all day fucking reading manga. I still play video games. I still love rock music. I still love. I need to get back into a lot of what I liked then. Um, ooh, let me turn up this gain just a little bit. It's very low. I think I have to have it like this for when I do the podcast. The other way I had it was for when I'm streaming because you can hear my keyboard, so I have to turn the gain down a lot. Um, but I have to get back into a lot of what I liked when I was younger. I used to love art. I used to draw all the fucking time, and I have just started getting back into drawing, but like I remember laying in bed for hours and just drawing in my sketch pad. I have them up there, and when I look at them, it's like, wow, they're not good, but they were good for my age, and it was so much passion that I had in it, and I lost it because of some things that I went through. Um, but it never really left me. It's just I have to grab it again and use it again, and I want to, uh, and I do, I am. Um, but I still like a lot of things that I liked when I was younger, when I was not who I am now. Um, I got such a lazy eye, bro. um, but I also like new shit. Um, I like a lot of new music. I really am getting into hip hop. The past few years, jazz, uh, jungle core. Um, and like I've always been into these things. It's just I've delved more into it. Before it was a lot of rock. Growing up, um, I liked like a lot of Panic at the Disco, Sleeping with Sirens. I had a huge emo phase. That was because I didn't know my place in the world. Um, and I was severely depressed. Uh, but um, and like even now, like I still experience those feelings. I'm just an adult now, so I'm able to better understand them and experience them. I'm better to feel. It's easier to feel them because I've grown. Um, but like a lot of newer artists that I like are like Guru, Phony People. Um, they're not new. They're just ones that like are newer to me. Um, Guru, Phony People. Uh, Whenever I try to think of things, it's hard for me to think of them in the moment. Uh, the Contortionists. I really like the Contortionists. They're good. That's a rock band that does like a lot of spiritual spiritual consciousness music. Like one of the lyrics is while you seek the obsolete, the answers are of no use to you now. Echoing out. Beanie, teeny, 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 teeny. You know, can I can't play music on YouTube. If I was streaming, I could. You know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna play it very, 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 very quietly. Oh, I like Dustin Conrad. Um, Let me turn this down. I like Dustin Conrad a lot. He's gay. And I like dick. I like dick. It gives me. Is he gonna play? Okay. I don't want it too loud. If it's very quiet. Mortal sound echoing out. Existence grows from itself, echoing out. They use a lot of what is it? Beats, frequencies in their music. Also, my spiritual beliefs have changed. I went through like from growing up, not necessarily Christian, but like believing in the Christian God, to being atheist, to being agnostic, then atheist, and now I'm just like spiritual. I believe in me, my being, the universe, and everything, because we are everything. What you seek, the obsolete, the answers are of no use to you now. Going out. But I've become more conscious about what I listen to. That doesn't mean that like I don't just listen to hot girl shit. Like I listen to hot girl shit. I love me some Cupcake, bitch. Don't get me started on Cupcake. Cupcake. That's my beat. And like I like all kinds of music. I literally love anything that's good. All within is all we know. All you know versus all you don't. Your primordial sound echoing out. Existence grows from itself, echoing out. I would recommend y'all look this song up. It's really good. This entire album is fucking phenomenal. All that you don't, all that you know versus all that you don't. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't. You don't. You don't. Yeah. 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 I was early, bitch. I'm always early on this song. I'm trying not to shake the mic too much. Woo, you shaking the table. I'm also trying not to be loud. Oh, within is all we know. Oh, versus all you don't. This entire album is fucking phenomenal. Like, it is so good. I can't listen to it on YouTube because YouTube is real fucking iffy about its copyright. That was a cover. That was a cover. It was me covering the song, you know. uh but yeah, my music taste has changed a lot. While also still being me. Like, it's both evolved but also stayed within who I am. Um Take a look at yourself. Take a look at yourself. Take one big look. Take a look at yourself. I like a lot of like 90s, early 2000s, a lot of 90s hip hop. Like conscious hip hop. I don't know. I don't really know the term for it. Hold on, I'm about to look up like if he has like if it's like I like a lot of jazz rap. I love jazz and different. I did not know this nigga was dead. Y'all hurt my throat. I did not know he was dead. I didn't get into him until the like past like 2 years. The kind of rap I grew up with was like yeah, the kind of rap I grew up with was like Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Tupac, which all great artists. Maybe not necessarily great people, but good music. What they say fuck me for? uh I think this video is long enough. It's an hour long. Long story short, I realized that I have a voice and that I should use it to educate people with helping them. Like I said in the first video, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with this. I didn't really know what it was. I didn't really know where I was going to go with it, and I still don't fully know, but I know that I want to use it to help people, and I want to use it to provide the tools and the knowledge that I once upon a time didn't have, that I know others need. And I also want to receive more tools and skills that I currently don't have. I'm sure there's a lot that I don't have, and I'm sure that there's a lot that I will gain and that I will know because I've been coming to realize quite a few things recently. One of them, I said I was gonna end, but I can do another 20 minutes. One of them is realizing how I still have been finding ways to blame myself for my trauma, by turning it into, oh, I have to take account. Ooh, I hit the fuck out of my desk. I'm sorry. I have to take accountability for the things that I've done while being abused. Which yes, especially like if it's something crazy, but I haven't done anything crazy. It would be one thing if like I was being verbally abused, so I started being physically abusive, or I was being verbally abused and I started being verbally abusive. That would be one thing, but I haven't done that. Um, what I did do was I was angry, and I was just angry, and it wasn't like I would take it out on my partner, but I would be physically like visually angry, and I would be like tight wound. Um, it would be like just the general like, ugh, I'm done with this shit kind of thing. Like I'm just like it's one thing after another. Like I'm so like that kind of thing. Um, but like I was in a really abusive relationship mentally, emotionally, financially, and the nigga was cheating on me. I can't say that on YouTube. And Minecraft, the dude was cheating on me. So like yeah, I was financially trapped in a relationship that I was unsatisfied in because not only was the dude cheating on me, but he was white and racist. But not that kind of like aggressive racist, the kind of like the kind of racist that a rich millionaire child will be. Um, and of course, I was upset in that situation. I haven't, I don't know, I've talked about it a bit in the past. And literally, I think, I don't know if it was an episode, the last episode or the episode before, but I literally spoke about how it must have been uncomfortable for him to experience me being angry and me being angry. That's literally all it was. Is I was just angry. I wasn't mean. I wasn't. I might have been blunt, but like I'm just a blunt person, which I might have been more blunt than I usually am. But that was like towards the end of the relationship when I knew he was cheating on me, and when he was like when it was bad. It's not an excuse. Um, I should have broken up with him, but I would have been homeless if I didn't. So like I don't regret not breaking up with him. Um, it just wasn't safe for me to. Um, but of course I was angry. Of course I was upset. And saying, "Oh, he didn't deserve that" is wrong. He did deserve that. He did deserve for me to be angry. He didn't necessarily deserve to be in a situation where he was with someone who was angry all the time, but like I mean, he could have broke up with I hit my sorry. He could have broke up with me. He wasn't financially trapped. And like maybe he didn't because there was a part of him that cared about me and he didn't want to leave me in a situation because he knew that like he made me financially reliant on him. Go back to the last episode if you want to know all the details, but he quite literally said, I will take care of you. You don't have to get a job. I will support you. My dad is a millionaire. Um, so, uh, so like maybe he felt some kind of responsibility but he wasn't trapped. And like after we broke up, like I said in like a video or two ago, I said like he has like he's the kind of person who will be with people because he just doesn't want to be alone, which I understand. I myself have been there. However, not in that sense of I'm going to be friends with people despite the fact that I know that they're horrible people. I've cut off people who, when I'm like, yeah, they're a horrible person, I don't like, regardless of if I'm going to be alone, I don't want them in my life. Um, and that's only become more true as I've gotten older. Now I'm sorry, that peaked the mic. I'm quick to cut a nigga off. Why can't I just be me on YouTube? Why y'all gotta censor me? I hope this video don't get taken down. Anyways. I had every right to be angry though. He was abusing me daily. Mentally and emotionally. And I don't need to blame myself for how I reacted to abuse unless it was crazy, which it wasn't. And I haven't been like actively like talking to myself about it, but that's because I'm not the kind of person who like ruminate. I am the kind of person who ruminates, but I've healed and I don't, or I try not to ruminate on things. I think about them, I acknowledge them, and I will sit down and I will analyze them for a little while. But then once when I've gotten to a place where I'm like, okay, I understand this, I just understand it and I move on. And then I may come back to it if like I still have feelings from it, or if I realize that I'm exhibiting the behaviors that I don't want to exhibit from it, and I act accordingly. I stop, in the moment, stop that behavior, or in the moment, feel the emotions that I feel and work through them, acknowledge them, and, all that shit. All that jazz. Um, but yeah, I recently came to the realization that I have been blaming myself for the abuse I experienced, which is not new for me. It was something I did for all of my life. And I've been healing, but it seems that the healing that I thought, the stage of healing that I thought I was at, I wasn't. That I was still finding ways to blame myself, and I don't want to do that. So I don't. I'm not. I got a little indigestion. It's probably that cookie, that mug cookie I ate, that mug cake I ate. But yeah, and I recently came to that realization about a week ago, a week or two. I think it was a week ago. Yeah, almost exactly a week ago, if not. So I'm working on it. It would be easier if I had more personal relationships in my life that were like really close. to where like I could talk to people about these things, but I don't really have people that I can talk to about these things. I mean, I do. I just it's not that I have vulnerability issues, which to a point I do, but it's that I have to be at a certain level of closeness with somebody to really talk with them about the current things in my life. I'm okay with talking with anybody about the things from my past that I, at least in the moment, feel like I understand or that I've healed from, or using something to like anecdotally help someone, give them advice, or be like, I relate to you on this thing. But I don't really hit up people. I'm like, hey, I'm going through something. Can I talk to you about it? Which I would like, and I'm working on. Um, but it takes time, for me at least. It didn't used to, but it does now. Um, so right now I'm just kind of like sitting with that. Um, because it's made me realize that like a lot of the healing that I thought I've done is yes, healing, but I'm not necessarily at the stage that I thought I was. I thought I was more healed than I actually am, which is okay because healing is a lifelong journey. And I'm healing. I think I'm in it there now. I can't really think of too much more to say. I'm a little tired, but also I'm trying to think of what I can do to heal from that. But I think really it's just time. It's just time, and because I've already done everything else, it's just really me being like, trusting myself. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's all. I'm gonna end it there. Y'all have a good night, good day. This will be going up today. So, oh, I peaked when I did that. I'm so sorry. 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 There you go. You guys get a good night kiss. Bye. I'm so sorry for your ears. Oh, my camera. Okay.